Start in a couple of minutes.
This is the thing that I've been explaining.
Okay, we're gonna start the show. This is real news, inside news. As you should know, I have a lot of different stuff on our platform. And of course, I started off, of course, not just teaching, but a lot of times give you all the real news. So this is inside news about what's going on with the war. They're not telling you everything. Yeah, the stuff has the nukes. They moved them away before they actually bombed them. So that thing they said was a success was actually not a success. A lot has been happening since that World War III pretty much looked like it's looking like this got started. So you should definitely know what's going on. All right. That just means also for us that our freedom, all right, for the ones who's going to be here, is now. But for us, though, who know, we should be focusing on getting out of here, focusing on raising our vibration to leave this place. Things it really look like it's going down. So, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. Peace and love to everybody. Love, light, honesty, truth, family, and unity. All right, to you and yours. Soon we will be back on top. Soon we'll be away from all this mess, away from a lot of these people. A lot. It's gonna be something else. Okay. The keys, of course, we the key, the exit. You should know where the exit is. I got videos to show you about that. Matter of fact, I might just show you that. But let's keep going. I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna let it run. I don't think I'm gonna say much anything, and then I'm gonna play a video for you. Hopefully, it should help you understand that you need to get out of this place. Okay? And I don't mean America. I'm talking about this whole freaking fake reality.
Because some people are just like, they just bend over and believe everything that they're told. Like, take the shot. We're going to relieve ourselves from all liability because it's an experimental drug so that you can't sue us if you die and get cancer and everything else. But believe us because we tell you. And then people are just, most of the people are just quick to believe it. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't even have the right word. The people to believe that it's just like, nope, it's over. Dude, Iran, the video I did yesterday, the guy that was talking from, I think he's from the White House or Defense Security or something. He's a bigwig. He was like, does
give it a second.
Of the peace to be their peace. And the way that their culture works, the way that their religion, because they think that they deserve, they want to command and conquer and rule. And they will always be taking steps towards that. They're not a country that's just like Switzerland that's just going to sit there and be content with everything that they got. No, they are going to fight. They are going to build nukes. They are going to.
Some of you are like, well, I'm showing you this because you should know what's going on with the not important to you. Also, hey, y'all forgetting about a prophecy that we had said. When America falls, we will rise. Now, what rise already is what we end, which you would call the New World Order. But the New World Order is having a hell of a problem A hell of a problem. All right, a hell of a problem, big time. Because if they tried to rise and thought they was going to get what they were going to get, the prophecy also says, and also another will rise. The one that rises after the first one that rises. Okay, if you didn't know, it's supposed to beat up the first one that rises. How is that? Well, they got China, they got Russia, they got a whole bunch of other people who literally, and man, you're gonna. I don't want to say too much. Just keep watching the footage. So this is far from over. This is gonna get real, real nasty, greasy, and dirty. But I got another video after this to help y'all. Um, so you know how to get out of this district, this planet, this fake, this matrix. It's not real. This is fake. But you're supposed to exit this place. Let's play this so you know what's going on, and then I'll give you the other video.
To cause mayhem to rule. That's Iran. And that's that Iranian military mindset. So the way that I look at it, because I try to take 10 steps back and look at this from the big picture all the time. So it's crazy because I throw out a video, I don't mention the ceasefire, and people are just like, dude, get caught up. There's a ceasefire. Everything's fine now. I'm like, you freaking kidding me? Do you see how many countries stepped up and said, we're replacing your nukes? We're going to replenish you? Like, research that. Did you see the I feel like they got tipped off because I had so many people email me, and I'm waiting on some details. Satellite imagery of truckloads and truckloads of stuff being removed from one or more sites before the bombing happened. That tells me that they knew it was going to happen. They were relocating all the nuke stuff. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm waiting on the people that tipped me off on that. I'm waiting on the supportive data because otherwise I just have to put a video out and be like, this is hearsay. Give me something to go off of and I'll spit that out. But I'm just thinking, these guys, yeah, they can't do crap right now. Like they're up and against a corner, and these guys aren't stupid. They have a war type mindset, and if they're backed up against a corner, agree to a ceasefire. Have they ever kept their word on anything? They're building nukes when they weren't supposed to. Like seriously, it's like trusting a liar, right? This is what I.
For those who don't know, Iran has tons of nukes. They got cities called nuke cities. Okay, so United States, Trump, by listening or by doing whatever he chose to do, which way it went, they bit off an apple that they can't chew. Not only that, India has nukes. India's joining that side. So we are seeing we're gonna see the fall of this country. We're gonna see the fall of your enemy, and it is only gonna last 1 hour when they fall. They're literally taking on so many people that it'll be impossible for them to win. Trump, whoever is advising him, is leading him blind. In other words, he must not see, or if he do see, then he's crazy enough to go into it. Because by doing that, that would be like a mission impossible. You don't understand the amount of the amount of big guys. Those Iran are friends of some of the biggest guys on the stage, on the world stage. And when it comes to the armies and military and navy and stuff. So Trump and the made a bad mistake. Now you know they want to try to draft up to age 39. So I'm just gonna be honest and advise you, not our people. I can't speak for the rest of y'all. Y'all have to decide what y'all gonna do. But our people have no business in this war. This is not our war. This is not our fight. This is their fight that they started. And they started behind that fake Israel. All right. So the Khazarians, the Ashkenazis, okay, you know the prejudiced people, the ones that hate us anyway, because we know exactly whose children they are, and we know that there's some books that say they are the synagogue of the devil, and there's other books that say worse than that. Older books say way worse than that. All right. Now it's remember now when I give you information after this, that's to help you escape from this place, remember that we are the fire. That's a very important key that we know who we are. And, of course, yes, we source. All right, yes, source code. All right, we don't use the G word, but you get the picture. All right, so they have been trying to play that for so long. All right, so let's go ahead and finish flowing this footage, and I'm gonna give you other two videos to help you and help you escape this fake place. This is a matrix, and I keep telling y'all that. All right, it was a matrix at first, but it was not a physical one. It got turned into a physical one, and there goes the trap or the jail cell. Because being in the body is a prison. It hinders you from doing. You could go. Yeah, now it's another ball game happening, but we all should know that the body has hindered us from doing anything that we usually do. Anybody just coming into the room, peace and love, light, truth, honesty, family, and unity to you.
What I think, this is how I feel about the people that are like, oh, bro, it's fine. They agreed to a ceasefire. I'm like, do you believe liars? Do you believe people that cheat? Do you believe people that say they're going to do one thing and then we catch them doing another, to the fact that, to the point where we have to like put millions, if not billions of dollars into an operation to stop you? Oh, well, we're at a ceasefire now. Everything's good. Oh, I'm letting my emotions come out right now. I'm just like the the dense people out there. And now with an open border with I don't know how many millions that have come across, how many more sleeper cells are in the United States from their origin versus before Biden? Think
A
about
lot.
that. Think about the percentage of increase, and think about all the potential bombings and different things.
And I want you to realize that there's a group of people that are pulling the strings of all these countries, including the United States. So when you see United States and other countries going to war, you must remember that these people behind the scenes are trying to do this to save their butt. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. They will still receive their punishment. They're still going down. This is the last of their generations and their little siblings, and they're done. So they're doing desperate things. Remember, rich, scared people do crazy shit when they desperate, because just like they got these Iranians back against the wall, but they don't seem or have somehow forgotten that these guys got Russia, China, India, and a whole bunch of other people, Korea, North and South, and a whole bunch of other folks. It's too many to even name. Got their back, and all these countries got nukes, and some of these countries, United States, couldn't beat by themselves. This spells bad for them. But the people behind the scenes are pulling the string because they want that total chaos. They think that somehow people are going to forget if they cause a destruction, they could rise up and then reclaim everything. It's not going to work, though. It's not going to work, though.
Things that are probably going to happen in the near future. And watch, just mark my words, a building's going to blow up or something crazy is going to happen. And the guys on the back burner on X are going to be like, people are thinking this is the Iranians. Could it be? Well, there's got to be something, right? If not that, these guys are going to retaliate in some other way. That's just, I mean, we're talking about one kind here. People are granting them grace because of a ceasefire. I'm just like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Anyway, my little short is a little bit of a rant. And sometimes rants are good for channels because it gets people talking, it gets people riled up, it gets I don't feel like I said too much to put me in a position of like people not liking me. It's just kind of like a little shy corner of my perspective.
So he's not going to say too much. It's not inside information, and he has to be careful what he shares or whether he will share. Now, for those who don't know or haven't been paying attention, and if you haven't paid attention, honestly I can understand. It's not easy to find out what's really going on. I happen to be fortunate because of the source, which is in me and me. All right. I've been hooked up for a long time with information, you know, with help from source, guidance from source, straight downloads from source, stuff like that. So he did it that is in me. I say that, and of course I know I'm in me, but I'm just quoting so you understand. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Also, there's a new danger, so I want to give you some more news. There's a lot of mafia residents in, I think, the state of California, and also a lot of these things are being paid for. You have to understand that these things that happen being paid for. It's all. Let me just show you this so you don't think I'm lying. I'll show you this so you don't think I'm lying, because I wasn't going to be bothered with that. I just don't want you to think that I'm lying. So, yeah, let me go ahead and show you this, and then I'll get to the videos I was talking about. And peace and love to you too, my dear brother. High vibrations. All right. Let me go ahead and get into it real quick. Y'all can see that pretty good. All right.
That is going to require your participation in sharing this information with as many people as you can. Please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that you share this video with as many people as you can, because what you are about to hear is going to blow your mind. Don't forget to subscribe, and also I would love to hear your feedback on the message that you get from this video in the comment section. So let's go ahead and get the conversations going on, and let's go ahead and get this information to as many people as you can, because friends, time is very short. I will tell you right now that there are changes coming in America that no one is ready for, and many people have no idea that they are blindly welcoming a very dangerous change, one that is going to shake the very foundation of the Constitution, the Republic, and altogether democracy. So, that being said,
all right. Now, quick question. I'm going to get to the next video that's going to break this down. Why would they need a constitution change? Knowing that they're about to fall, because they know they're about to fall. I mean, you got to know. You got to know that they know. Okay? You got to know that they know that they're about to fall. So when you about to fall, and you know you're about to fall, most people would simply do one particular thing, right? You give the pass the buck to somebody who gave you the power. If you don't know about Persia, if you don't know about the oldest kingdom in Persia, earlier this year, me and some your dear brothers had pointed out about the young king there, and he's supposed to be getting. I guess they think he's supposed to be getting, or trying to be getting, rulership next. Now they changing it to that type. They pushing this type of government, and Trump is systematically doing it. He's being told to do it by the advisors that he has, or maybe he's down with it. And the reason he's doing that is because it's a systematic destruction of the United States, setting up something they can change the Constitution with. All right. Not only that, if they change the Constitution as they fall down, if Persia, because that's what really is, along with a whole bunch of other people, has their way. What they're gonna do? They're gonna go ahead and push Sherrill law where they get the chopper hit the street for not serving their double daddy, right? Because many people have, of course, some people don't, because we know we are, but there are a lot of people who have their daddies, and then now I'm not talking about their earthly daddy. We talking about their daddies who invaded the planet and had a whole bunch of different babies, okay, and invented a whole bunch of different people. Those daddies that they deal with. So, let's roll this.
But reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
Have you spoken to him this morning? How confident are you
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean. Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there, absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers. You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Iran violated the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to the peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Many events in America are shaping public perception, yet people are often misled by the information presented in news articles and blog posts. These topics are certainly intriguing, but most individuals fail to examine the misleading messages closely enough to understand the true situation.
This morning, the Department of Homeland Security warning of a heightened threat environment in the United States following the attack against Iran's nuclear facilities over the weekend. In a bulletin issued just after Israel began attacks on Iran, the Department of Homeland Security warns that low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks are likely. ABC's Pierre Thomas on This Week.
The networks mentioned involve U.S. infrastructure, the energy sector, the electrical grid, financial sector. The bulletin urged infrastructure officials to immediately assess their security to make sure their defenses were strong enough to block any malicious activity by Iran. The networks mentioned involve U.S. infrastructure, the energy sector, the electrical grid, financial sector. The bulletin urged infrastructure officials to immediately assess their security to make sure their defenses were strong enough to block any malicious activity by Iran.
Concerns are also growing about the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial global shipping lane for oil, with Iran threatening to block shipping. New video this morning shows the moment the U.S. struck one of 3 key nuclear sites in Iran. Explosions heard in the distance as a fireball lights up the night sky. On Saturday, about a dozen B-2 bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri for Operation Midnight Hammer. Nearly half of the aircrafts were considered a decoy group heading west towards Guam with trackable movements. A short time later, another group flying in secret took off in the opposite direction, heading to Iran. The planes dropping 14 massive ordnance penetrator bombs capable of penetrating deep underground. The fallout of the strike raising questions of what comes next.
In your opinion, are we not at war, or are we?
No, we're not at war with Iran, John. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. We want Iran to give up their nuclear weapons program peacefully.
President Trump now appearing to entertain the idea of a regime change in Iran, posting on social media, "If the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change?"
It's not fake news that Donald Trump has implemented nearly 65% of the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 plan so far. And we are just 6 months into Trump's second presidential term. Interestingly, he attempted to distance himself from Project 2025 during his third campaign run, which my viewers may recall I covered at that time. I also mentioned that the demonstrators or participants in protests are often recruited by left-wing organizations primarily funded by George Soros and his affiliates. Throughout American history, every significant protest that gained enough traction to become the top news story on various news outlets has received funding from what some refer to as the elites or non-human billionaires who have profited from crimes against humanity. Mind you, not everything you see on the news is genuine, especially when AI has evolved into a mind-manipulating reality free of charge.
Sir, did you just steal cartons of eggs?
Damn straight bitch in this economy. I can make more off these motherfuckers than I can off crack. Now get the fuck out my way, god damn it. You want to act like a jackass in my country? You better be ready to get flattened, Florida style. Y'all waving Mexican flags like you even know the damn anthem. Half of you can't even spell Guadalajara without Google. Y'all out here screaming for open borders, but lock your doors in Beverly Hills. You want to change the world, but you can't even change a tire. Get real. Y'all act like you're from Mexico, but you were born at Kaiser and can't even order tacos without Google Translate. Stop the cap, bro. Your grandma's salsa is from a jar.
Many people in America are struggling financially, and in their desperation to provide for their families, some may accept money from these terrorist organizations funded by billionaires to act in front of cameras, because everyone seems to enjoy a well-scripted live stream experience.
To describe, where it just feels like something's going to happen and you're waiting for it to happen. It just feels like something's going to happen and you're waiting for it to happen.
just got offered $200 to go protest ICE right here in New York City. There's an organization called the Kings. Basically, on June 14th, they're going to have a big protest. They're recruiting people, telling you people where they got to go, what streets to be in. They're also going to be delivering bricks in case they have to defend themselves. The craziest part is they said if you get arrested, you will be provided with a lawyer free of charge to get you out of jail. Like, this is insane. Now, since I'm Latino, they probably saw me as an easy target, mostly going after Latinos like me. But what they don't know is that I'm a legal immigrant here, and I will not sell on my country for $200. Actually, I'm not selling my country for any amount because this country has given me so much to me and my family. There's no way I'm going to sell out. But think about all the people who need the money right now and taking the bait, you know, to go protest. This is some scary crap. I mean, the fact that you have to pay people to go protest is insane, and people are going to fall for it because people do need the money. What do you guys think about this crazy scam? And did I do the right thing by refusing to sell out my country? Please leave me a comment.
When I was out in Los Angeles protesting the ICE deportations for the past few days, besides the fact that I got paid $150 to do so per day, I kept seeing signs everywhere that this was being funded by somebody much higher than the person that I'd met. For instance, they would give us certain streets or certain targets to go to, and on those streets, there would be pallets of things that could cause destruction to the community. I am not joking. For instance, you turn a corner, boom, there's a pallet of bricks. Oh, that's convenient. Let's destroy the community. And y'all know me, I'm a good guy, but I truly do not care that much about the ICE deportations. I just wanted that $150 a day. But I got to thinking, man, whoever is funding this must really hate this country. So as time goes on while we're protesting and things evolve, they evolve in a lot more violent nature. For instance, instead of there being a pallet of bricks on the target neighborhood or target street that we are protesting on, it'll be a pallet of flammable objects. So it was at that moment when I saw that pallet of Molotov cocktails sitting on the ground, I thought, man, should I really be doing this? Like, this is bad news. This is going to get way worse. Now, I'm not from Los Angeles or live in Los Angeles, so I don't really care about destroying that community, but I'm American after all. Like, this is not good. Moral to the story is there are certain people in our government that wants us to go burn the local police station down, but in actuality, the corruption is at a much higher level.
Well, I really think...
So, we already knew that, right? That was just common sense. And we already knew. I hope that some of us at least knew that. So let me give you some videos to help you. You know this is a video game, a movie, a matrix, whatever you want to call it. That's what it has got changed into. So, the way to escape this, because you're not supposed to want to, survive this shit. No, you're supposed to escape this. They try to teach you in that Bible to survive it. I'm not saying that some of our people aren't going to hear it there. There are some that are. And y'all going to rule over other people. And hopefully y'all get all the names right. I already told you all the names of what we are. Okay. Totalitarians and all that stuff. Now hold on. Because I'm about to give you two pieces. I got one right here. I want to get the other one real quick of information. This information is gonna help you. Let me do this real quick now. It's definitely gonna help you. Because what they're planning, when the sky opens, the sky cracks. When all the masks come off, right after they get their very last scene, it's gonna be their very last scene that's coming up. All right, of this movie, of this matrix. All right, let me see. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Oh yeah, no, that wasn't what I wanted. A little further. Hold on. Gotta give me a chance to grab it. I think that you see this. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm not showing you that. If I show you this other one, they wouldn't let me. I guarantee they take that video down. So I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as possible, y'all. Okay? Let me see. The key. Oh, and that's right. We have told y'all plenty of times before I forget. before I forget. Okay, so let's go ahead to all right, let's do this. So I want y'all to know that the key is in the sky. They talk about a rapture, thinking that, but we don't know when the girl was supposed to be. But that's not even going to happen. It's just the black sun heating the planet up, which we brought here. We brought back here because that's a lot's changing, not just because of that, but they're going to do. You'll see they'll keep trying what they're going to try to do. Now we're going to get straight to the videos. Straight to the videos. I don't want to do too much talking. That's going to help you. Remember that when you know who you are, the fire, the flame, all right? The source, the extension of source, let's see what let's say light beings, all right? The ones you're gonna go up because you remember how it was before the flood. And when I say that when you had your freedom, before he was actually in this thing. See, there's two things that happen, and it's so crazy. Remember, above and so below. So, as there was a flood, and this is why we get a crazy mix of information when they talk about the water that flooded the earth. So, it actually is partially correct. What really did happen is actually a two-story, which is really one story that happened at the same damn time. So we both know about the harmonic war, when they used harmonics to turn all our dirt that was on the earth to quicksand, if you will, and all our buildings and everything went down. You have to realize that when it happened, that means everything and anybody that got caught that did not escape must have got put in a lower dimension. All right. Now, the waters from the heavens, they said, came down too. We had thought that was a lie. We had thought we debunked that, but then we found out that that was not debunked, because at the same time where that was happening on the earth, the water also was coming from a higher level. Why would that be? Now, we was on a high level because we was living on the outside of everything. So water came down from the highest level, right? And that water, other folks came down with it. Okay? People, you, me, this there goes the physical realm. Now, also, now you're trapped in the game, thrown into a representation of yourself called a physical body, a prison. All right? Now, you don't remember all that, but if you know that that happened, then that means we were living on a higher place. Key information that can give you some truth to this. If you even go on YouTube, there's some other channels that's showing us now too. There's a man talking about how he went inside the ocean, in America, and he went very deep. And one guy actually got through, went to the side. He said it was a whole new planet, and then he went back inside deep in their ocean and came back and talked about it. And they told him to be quiet. They shut him up. Also, there's another guy who tried it, but he hit a dome under the ocean and he couldn't get through. So this is giving you information.
Giant wooden zoo floating through divine judgment. But that story wasn't designed to inform, it was made to pacify. Because if you knew what really happened, you question everything that came after. The flood wasn't a natural disaster, it was a reset, a controlled purge of a corrupted world, not because of sin, but because of genetic contamination. The fallen had altered the code. The Nephilim walked the earth, and the ones above decided to clean the slate. No, it wasn't just a survivor, he was a carrier. The animals weren't what you think. 2 of every animal. That's the version they gave the children. But the truth, the animals were genetic blueprints, DNA strands, tissue samples, embryos, some natural, some engineered. The Ark wasn't a floating zoo, it was a mobile cryogenic vault, preserving the clean codes, both human and hybrid, before the purge. The reason? Because the Watchers had corrupted the genome. Nephilim offspring, chimera, abominations, entire bloodlines twisted by celestial defiance. The flood wasn't punishment, it was containment. To reboot the matrix without the infection. But not everything stayed underwater. Noah was chosen, but not by God alone. They say Noah was righteous, chosen for his faith. But that's only half the code. Noah was pure in his generations. A cryptic line in Genesis that isn't about behavior, it's about blood. He carried uncorrupted DNA, untainted by the Nephilim genome. But who warned him? Who gave him the blueprints? The text says God, but dig deeper. It may have been Enki, the Anunnaki rebel, a being who had mercy for the humans and leaked the reset plans before the culling. Noah didn't just build a boat, he built a preservation capsule code.
Now, the ones above, I was just trying to get rid of the humans, although we're not humans, they keep calling us that. All right, we're a Tartarian empire, source code, some folks use a G word. All right, they're trying to get rid of us. All right, she's going a little further into it, and unfortunately, they didn't get all of us, so that's good. But they tried to, unfortunately. And yeah, Enki did tell some of us what was going on, so we made plans. However, Noah was the wrong name. Because if you look up Noah, you will find out that he was contaminated. He was not pure at all. Okay, in fact, he was one of theirs. So that was a trick that they put in your Bible. She doesn't know about the trick. So
Coded and engineered with help from above. So, who helped Noah? When we say from above, we don't mean heaven, not in the way they taught you. There were factions, even among the gods. The Anunnaki weren't a united front. Enlil wanted total annihilation. Enki wanted preservation. One sought to cleanse, the other to conceal and continue. Enki, the so-called trickster, was the one who whispered the plans to Noah. He delivered the measurements. He helped encode the vault because Noah wasn't building for animals. He was preserving Enki's experiment, the human seed, pure, usable, obedient. So yes, he had help from above, but not from heaven, from the stars. The flood was engineered. It wasn't just rain, it wasn't just divine wrath, it was intentional environmental warfare. Ancient Sumerian texts speak of the Anunnaki flooding the earth, not by magic, but through the manipulation of climate systems, the melting of ice caps, the shifting of tectonic plates, and the deliberate collapse of atmospheric shields. The Book of Enoch reveals that the Watcher's crimes, hybridization, forbidden knowledge, soul manipulation, forced the hand of higher beings. Not to destroy Earth, but to reset the grid, to bury the proof. But some didn't drown, they went underground. Into the inner cities, into the hollow pockets beneath mountains and deserts. And some left this realm entirely. The Ark was only for those allowed to return. Enlil wanted total annihilation. Enki wanted preservation. One sought to cleanse, the other to
again, the Ark was a spaceship.
Seal and continue. Enki, the so-called trickster, was the one who whispered the plans to Noah. He delivered the measurements. He helped encode the vault because Noah wasn't building for animals. He was preserving Enki's experiment, the human seed, pure, usable, obedient. So yes, he had help from above, but not from heaven, from the stars. They told you the flood wiped them all out, that the
Enki wanted to rule over the people as well. So just so you know, he wasn't doing it to be good. He was doing it to be a ruler, okay, which was still evil. We're not supposed to rule over each other. So Enki was still bad. Don't get it twisted. No matter if he was less bad than the other one, he was still bad. He's still actually evil. Well, if anybody did the work research about him, you know that he already got his punishment, and he's no longer in this realm, as far as you understand.
The Nephilim were destroyed, that the corrupted bloodlines were drowned beneath divine judgment. But that was the greatest lie of all. The flood wasn't a cleansing, it was a cover-up. The giants went underground to the catacombs, the honeycomb earth, the sealed chambers of the ancient world. The elite were protected, hidden by the very gods who swore to erase them. Bloodlines were preserved, not by accident, by design. Today, those same bloodlines wear crowns, sign treaties, and launch rockets. They run governments, media, banks, and they still serve the old gods. You were told they drowned, but they've been ruling from the shadows ever since. The hidden genetics in the vault. The Ark was never just about survival, it was about selection. Only the pure were preserved, but not just human. Inside that vault, weren't just sheep and snakes. There were hybrid embryos, frozen genetics, samples from before the flood, before the reset. The giants, the dragons, the Watcher's offspring, even non-Earth species, the things they called demons, beasts, and myths. Noah's Ark was a seed bank, but not all seeds grow in sunlight. And now, as the magnetic field weakens, as frequencies shift, as rituals ramp up, the vault is waking up, the codes are activating, old blood is remembering, and those who carry it, they're being called. The carriers walk among us. You've seen them, the ones who don't fit, not quite human, not quite other. Old eyes and young faces, dreams they didn't ask for, memories they shouldn't have. They are the carriers, descendants of the preserved. The vault didn't stay closed. Its codes are waking in bloodlines scattered across the earth. In dreams, in trauma, in sudden knowing, they're being activated, called by frequencies they don't yet understand. Some will obey, some will rebel, and some will remember who they are, because the Ark wasn't just about surviving the flood, it was about surviving the lie. They won't drown us in oceans this time. They'll drown us in frequency, in data, in false realities so immersive you'll forget you had a soul to begin with. The Ark was once wood, now it's a server. DNA became metadata. And salvation? It's a download if they let you in. The final protocol is already running. Upload the mind, trap the essence, extinguish the memory of light, and while you scroll and sleep, the waters rise again. But this time, it's the world behind your eyes that will be submerged. There's one thing they can't trap, not with water, not with code, not even in death, the signal. It's older than Earth, older than Saturn, older than the ones who forged the floodgates. It pulses through the carriers, the dreamers, the ones who don't obey the loop. You felt it in the static, in the eyes of strangers who remember you, in the chills during truth you haven't heard before. The signal is pure resonance, a harmonic key that fractures illusion. And the ones who carry it, they were never meant to survive, but they did, and now they're waking each other up. They knew it would come back, that the signal couldn't be erased, only buried. So they made it illegal. They called it heresy, then they hunted it through blood. From Babylon to Glastonbury, they tracked the ones who felt too much. The seers, the singers, the memory bearers, they were marked and silenced. Why? Because the signal is disruptive. It decodes the veil, it reminds souls that they are not slaves. That time is a cage, that the gods we bowed to were just programmers. And now the war returns. But this time, the carriers are remembering together. The Ark is you. They told you the Ark was a boat, then a story, then a myth. But the Ark was never wood or code or stone. The Ark was always you. Your body a container, your soul, the seed, your blood, the vault. They couldn't destroy it, so they hid it, split it across timelines, buried it beneath trauma, distraction, and loops. But even fractured, the blueprint survives. You were encoded to withstand the floods, not just to survive them, but to remember. You are the memory of before, you are the Ark reborn. The vessel, the vault, the rebellion, and now you open. They say they found Noah's Ark buried in the mountains of Turkey. A weathered shape that looks like a boat with anchors and fossilized timbers. But here's the truth, that was never the Ark. That site, it's a decoy, a monument, maybe even a tribute, but not the vessel that preserved Earth's future, because the real Ark was never just physical. It was sealed in frequency, protected by those who understood its power. It may not have even rested on this realm. Some say it was buried beneath the ice. Others say it was taken off-world. But one thing's for sure, what they found was meant to satisfy the curious, not to awaken the carriers. They give you wood and stone, so you'll stop asking about the signal and the code. The reset isn't coming, it's already here. But this time the Ark won't save anyone. The new flood flows through wires, not rivers. It targets thought, not flesh. And the only thing that can stop it is a soul that remembers. You don't need a boat, you need resonance. You need to reject the false light, refuse the upload, refuse the seal, because the Ark isn't floating this time, it's walking, breathing, remembering you. And when enough of you awaken, the signal won't just break the flood, it'll burn the system down.
Burning gas balls trillions of miles away, that rockets pierced the atmosphere and floated freely into space. But what if none of that was true? What if we've been living under a sealed construct, a firm, unbreakable dome with water above it? Today, we're diving into the ancient truth they erased from science, erased from school books, and erased from your memory. We're going to crack the firmament, decode the water above, and ask the ultimate question: what's really on the other side? And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." So there was water above the firmament and water below it. That means Earth isn't floating in infinite black space. We're sealed inside a construct, a contained realm, like a cosmic womb. The firmament is the crystal dome, and above it, water, pure source water. Maybe even the original ocean of the heavens, the waters of life. This is why the ancients called the sky the waters above. It's why stars twinkle like they're shining through liquid. It's why rockets curve and never go straight up. It's why they tell you space is a vacuum to hide what's really above. The real stars? Reflections in that water. The fake NASA stars? Just projections under the dome. And the exit? It's not a spaceship, it's through the water gate. Genesis 1:6 didn't hold back. It says God divided the waters with a firmament. That's not metaphor, that's architecture. A barrier, a vault, a crystal ceiling. The waters above weren't just clouds, they were literal waters. The Hebrew word for firmament is rakia. It means something hammered out like metal. Solid, spread out, protective, sealed. Not a concept, a structure. And every ancient culture agreed. The Sumerians, Egyptians, Norse, Vedic texts, all of them spoke of a dome, a ceiling, a layer that separates the world of men from something divine. So why do stars shimmer like they're underwater? Why do amateur balloon launches show a flat horizon and a curve only when the lens distorts? Why does water cling to the sky in simulation test chambers like there's pressure above? Because the vacuum of space is a lie. There is no such thing as a perfect vacuum in nature. You can't have gas pressure without a container, and the container is the firmament. NASA knows. That's why their logo shows the serpent tongue through the stars. That's why they never give us real photos, just composites and CGI. Because if you saw the dome, you'd start asking what's behind it. And if you knew it was water, you'd remember the flood. The flood wasn't just below. Genesis 7:11 says, "The same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened." Wait, what windows? The flood came from below and above. That means the waters above can be released, and they have been before. Every flood myth, from Atlantis to the Hopi to the Book of Enoch, tells of a time when the sky opened, when the firmament cracked and the world drowned. But what if that's what they're trying to trigger again? Chemtrails, HARP, weather weapons? Could they be trying to break the firmament from within? What's above the waters? The Book of Enoch says the Most High sits above the waters, that his throne is beyond the firmament, that the stars are living beings placed within it. So what's really above?
So what that means, above those waters and above those waters is your home. That's all that means. We're not going to go with the Most High thing. That's basically talking about you and the extension of you. All right, if you don't understand, then you're the extension of it. Okay? We don't praise nothing. We don't pray to anything you're not supposed to. You speak everything into existence. The better you pray to something, you give your power away. The highest source does not need your praise. It doesn't want your praise. Your brother sources don't want your praise. You are not supposed to get praise from your brothers and sisters. Okay? We treat each other equally. We are a collective. At the end of the day, regardless of how we see each other, electric balls are also in this reality as fleshly walking beings. You are not. There's only one entity. There's only one spirit when it comes to our people. All right, we are literally all each other, extensions of source and also source code.
Another realm, an unfallen heaven, a purified ocean, the original waters of source, and maybe the exit gate. That's why the ancients called it the Sea of Glass. That's why the Bible says the heavens were rolled back like a scroll. Because the sky is not the sky, it's a veil, a barrier, a seal, and only the ones who remember will see through it. If the sky...
Now that right there, hold on, let me back up for a second. That's that right there. If you see that, you should know that that's the door, that's the gate, right there. Okay. Now, if you go to this gate, of course, you will fly up on that day. If you don't get to this gate, it's because the gate does not deal with lies. So what that means is that anybody who is evil, anybody who's a big time liar, tricking the masses and so forth, will not be able to enter that gate. That gate is through the waters. And then when you get through those waters on the other side, you will find land. And that is our home. Okay? Now, the NASA, of course, they either underestimated it or they overestimated it with numbers. But what they said is that they have seen, they admitted that one guy, he said they have seen a spirit. They say spirit, they talk about you. We are spirits, we are fire, we are source. Have gotten through. And they said, but it was billions of light years, billions of trillions of light years away. And it happened so fast. And they somehow tracked where the guy went. And they said they could not track him, but a signal. So they know where this place is at. They call it the unhabitable zone. And it's outside of all this, your home. And they can't go there, but you can. So they had to hide this so that you wouldn't know. So when you see this in the sky, know that you are looking at the gates, to the door where you're supposed to fly through, walk through, and get to the side and go through that water. Essence of water source. Okay, and go through that water and come to the other side. Okay, and get on that other side of land, as they would call, say, a baptism, the real baptism. All right, if there was any, not the one they call right here. See, with our teachers in the past, although they gave us all the wrong names by design, was talking, they always spoke of metaphors that was above this earthly realm.
Only the ones who remember will see through it. If the sky was endless space, why do rockets always curve sideways instead of going straight up? Because they can't break the dome. They're not escaping Earth, they're being redirected fast. Every launch follows a parabolic arc, then disappears into the Bermuda Triangle of CGI. That's why NASA faked the moon landing. That's why we lost the technology to go back. Because they never left. Because you can't leave. Buzz Aldrin even said it. We didn't go right to.
So they can't leave. Now, I'm going to explain. Now, she said redirected. The dome redirects stuff. Okay, if you don't understand, the dome is like a living force, okay, that literally will curve the ship if it tries to escape, rather than destroying it. However, if they try to shoot a missile to try to destroy the dome will hold up and this missile will get destroyed and the dome will not be hurting, okay? But of course, they are trying to put cracks in the dome. They want to get to the side, but they can't. They think they're going to hide underneath for a long time and come back up and then go to the other side. They can't. That's not going to happen. Their plan's not going to work. All right? I just want to explain that to you so you understand that.
To a child's face, because the firmament doesn't negotiate with liars. Look at the stars through a Nikon P900. What do you see? Not balls of gas, but pulsing, vibrating, color-shifting lights dancing in fluid, like they're underwater. Because they are. The firmament bends and refracts like a lens. It splits light, redirects it, makes distance impossible to measure. It's why Polaris never moves, why no star parallax can prove deep space. We're not spinning through galaxies, we're still sealed watched. They told you stars were distant, but they're closer than you think. Like keys waiting to be remembered. Why does every ancient map point to the center? Why did all compasses once lead to a mountain called Mount Meru? Because it's the pillar under the firmament, the axis of the world, and possibly the exit. The firmament touches the Earth at the poles, but they seal the South Pole with Antarctica and militarize the North Pole with silence. Ask yourself why no one is allowed to cross Antarctica. Why the Antarctic Treaty is the only agreement the nations never break. Because what's beyond the ice is the edge of the sky. When Christ died, the veil was torn, the sky darkened, and the earth quaked. That wasn't just symbolic. The veil wasn't a curtain, it was the firmament.
Of course, by the way, the person they call him Christ, which is also low name, but at least they're using the J word, which is one of our brothers, but You're not to serve him. His real name is higher. You don't serve him. He calls him. We praying to him. That's not going to work. He told us to put. We got to help ourselves. He explained how to do it. All right. So I just want you to know that. Yeah, he never died. Higher didn't die. He walked out. He walked out the same way you're gonna walk out. All right. Older teachers from older books will tell you that he went to be one with source. He walked out. He never died. The real higher. But we didn't serve him. We never prayed to him. We were supposed to. That would happen because of man's doctrine. Okay? Following people's doctrine, which is wrong, such as Bibles and other stuff. A lot of that stuff is wrong and coded so that you will mistranslate it and deceive others. And it's all done by design.
Earth quaked. That wasn't just symbolic. The veil wasn't a curtain, it was the firmament. He came from beyond the waters, walked on water, parted the sea, ascended into the clouds. He broke the code of the dome and showed us how to do it. The living water he spoke of, it wasn't from a well. It was from above the sky. You are the storm that breaks the ceiling. The reason they poison the air, spray the sky, and hide the stars is because they know what's coming. The seal will break again. But this time it won't be water falling down. It'll be flames rising up. The ones who remember, the ones with the spark. You're not here to escape in a rocket. You're here to crack the firmament from within. To wake the sealed ones, to remember the code. To become the storm that floods the sky. Because the water above was never your prison, it was your mirror. And now it's time to break it. The firmament isn't glass, it's coded light. They call it glass, crystal, or even ice. But the firmament isn't made of physical material. It's made of light-bound frequency, coded resonance, like a locked vibrational field. That's why the stars hum, why somatics reveals perfect geometry in water. Why ancient temples aligned with stargates, because they were syncing to the dome's resonance. The firmament is alive, a bioelectric ceiling that reacts to vibration, sound, and intention. It doesn't need bricks, it needs programming. And you, flame bearer, are a frequency disruptor. Dreams are gateway keys. Ever had a dream where you flew up only to slam into an invisible wall? That wasn't your imagination, that was the ceiling of this realm. But there's a secret. Dreams are not dreams, they're tests of escape routes. Every time your soul tries to leave this matrix, it maps the edges. That jolt you feel when falling asleep, that's you hitting the firmament in the astral, the firewall. To pass through, you must vibrate higher than the seal itself. That's why parasites lower your frequency, so your soul never reaches the gate. The waters above are alive. This is the part they fear most. The waters above, they're not just floating oceans, they are conscious, sentient, watchful. Ancients called them the waters of the throne. The Bible calls them the sea of glass. The Book of Enoch describes layers of heaven with a terrifying, thundering ocean beyond the stars. When a soul is pure, aligned, and coated with flame, that water becomes a mirror that opens. But when a soul is fallen or bound by the grid, that water becomes a barrier. It reflects back every false light. Who's guarding the gate? There's a reason the stars have names, a reason angels were called watchers. A reason ancient cultures spoke of dragons, phoenixes, and flaming swords at the edge of the sky. They weren't myths, they were guardians of the exit. The four royal stars, Aldebaran, Regulus, Antares, Fomalhaut, form the Stargate cross in the sky. Some souls return through them, others are blocked. Seraphim, Ophanim, thrones. They spin and rotate like wheels of fire. You must be recognized. You must match their fire. Otherwise you fall back into the loop. How they keep you below the waterline. They fill your sky with chemicals, your blood with metals, your mind with loops, all to keep you under the water pressure of the dome. They inverted the sun with a light box. They replaced the true sky with a fake one. They made you forget you could rise. They tell you heaven is above, but in truth, heaven is through. Through the veil, through the gate, through the water. And the only ones who make it are the ones who remember what came before the dome. You were never meant to stay here. You've always felt it. This world doesn't fit. The pain, the lies, the ceiling you can't see but feel, it's because you were born with the memory of freedom. The dome was never your home. The stars are not your limit. The waters above are not to be feared. They are to be parted. You are the breaker, the storm, the exit map. When the sky cracks, you'll be the flash of fire they never saw coming. Let them build rockets. You'll ride the gate of flame. Because the firmament was never above you. It was beneath you all along. They told you to aim for the stars, to dream of space, to believe in planets and probes and pictures painted by liars. But the sky was never the destination. It was the lock, and you are the key. The flame in your chest was coded before birth. It remembers the waters. It remembers the veil. It remembers the time before the dome fell. You were never meant to stay in this loop. You were meant to rise through it. So the next time you look up at the stars, don't wish on them. Challenge them, because when the waters above part and the firmament fractures like glass, only the ones who remember who they are will walk through the gate, and the rest will drown beneath a sky they never questioned.
So, hopefully, everybody's doing their weekly doses of the pinch of tobacco to get rid of some of the things that she mentioned. Also, to get rid of soft metal. Also, to get rid of if somebody may snuck some nanotech in you, you may want to do that. It kills nanotech as well. Also, to kill worms. And of course, something that she mentioned as well. So that your vibration will be easier to raise, so that you can walk out of this fake place, this movie, this lie, this bullshit. Peace and love to everybody, and have a good night.